Hello, everyone, and welcome to Excode Week 6, Celebration Week. Woo! Congratulations to you all for making it that far. It's really a pleasure to see so many faces, and it's also a pleasure to say that this year, for the first year in a decade that Excode has been running, we had more than 500 students passing the exams and getting certified Excode Python introduction. Congratulations to you all. And we're really happy to pioneer this kind of celebration week. It's the first year running this as a way to celebrate and also get some action-packed and inspire you. We want to show you a bit what's there in education and in tech, and what the skills you just learned can be applied to many fields. And we know that one of our big strengths at Excode is the diversity, is you, it's the students, it's the team, is having so many different backgrounds that all come to the same table and discuss and exchange around coding and technology. Hence why today we're getting amazing speakers from all across the university and beyond to tell you about all the opportunities and the direction technology is going. So we're going to start with Tim Quine, the Vice President, Deputy Vice-Chancellor on Education, that will talk a bit about his tenure, his role, and also his direction in education at the university. After that, we're going to have five amazing societies talking, and each giving you a bit different view on what Python can do, and just in general, giving you a view of the opportunities that are available to you in Exeter with your new skills. After that, we'll have a one-to-one interview with Pritchard, the head of Tech Southwest. And we'll continue with some fun. I mean, that's the whole goal of a celebration as well. So we'll have a quiz with cash prize. We have over, I think, £150 in prizes we'll be giving tonight through the quiz, which will be a fun quiz. Everyone can participate. Everyone has a chance of winning. They made it. Arya and Talia made it. And then we also have the game competition winners announcement, where we will announce the winners of the game competition. And finally finish, from the object of all your attention, the certificates. So we have a photographer, I know where the photographer is. If you want, yeah, say hi to the photographer, everyone. So he's going to be taking a nice picture, and if you want, you can come here, take a picture, everyone together, maybe with also the speakers, and get that going. And then finally, last but not least, we'll head up to the RAM, where we have the RAM booked. It's entirely optional, but if you want to join us, we'll go to the RAM, have a pint, and if the speaker wants to join us as well, and just have some discussions. So I'm going to get started by inviting here on the stage Tim Quine, Professor Tim Quine, the Vice President and Deputy Vice-Chancellor of Education and Student Engagement at the university. Please, an applause.
Thanks very much, Lorenzo. It's a huge pleasure to be here this evening. So good evening to you all, and thank you for the invitation to join you for this celebration. As I say, it's a real pleasure to be here to meet some of the 2025 Excode student cohort. This is one of the largest and most committed and most creative groups of student coders anywhere in the UK. Lorenzo was just sharing some of the numbers with you. He's probably going to reveal them later, so I won't give more of those now. So first thing to say is congratulations to you all. Completing Excode is no small achievement. You've given up your evenings, your weekends, to mastering Python and discovering the power of programming. You've done this in a community-led program run by students, for students, and one that's grown, as I say, into the UK's leading student-led programming bootcamp. Of course, that alone is remarkable, but you've done that while balancing your degrees. Many of you will be working. And also, there's other stuff, isn't there? There's sort of life that goes on in parallel. So huge congratulations. I want to acknowledge something that makes Excode really special, and that's the mission. Excode exists to ensure that any Exeter student, regardless of background, discipline, or financial means, can explore coding. And that's an ambition we absolutely share. It's an ambition. Some of you may know that we gave an honorary degree to Andrew Ng, one of the founders of Google DeepMind in the summer, and he thinks every student at the university should learn to code. We had quite an excited discussion at lunchtime over that. But you've come closer to achieving that objective than we have as an institution more formally. So huge congratulations to you. That commitment to removing barriers, to making digital skills accessible and empowering curiosity is exactly the sort of ambition that we want to characterise the future of education at Exeter. So thank you to everyone who's taught, supported, organised or taken part. You really are reshaping what student leadership and digital education can look like. This focus on digital skills is also central to our Strategy 2030, the university's Strategy 2030, to create a world that's fairer, greener and healthier, and where every learner is equipped to engage confidently with the digital world. As Lorenzo said, I'm currently Vice President and Deputy Vice-Chancellor for Education and Student Experience. I'm just coming to the second of my 5-year term, so after 10 years, I'm about to step down at the end of the calendar year. And the decade in which I've been in that position, it's been a real privilege to hold the role and to lead education through a period that's been phenomenally challenging and some huge changes across that time period for the university, for the sector, for the world, and for students. Students at the University of Exeter have been through a global pandemic. You've been through the arrival of probably one of the most disruptive technologies that we've seen in universities. I remember the first time ChatGPT broke onto the scene, walking down the corridor and saying to the Vice-Chancellor, this will be a bigger impact than the pandemic. And of course, so it's appeared. We are trying to work out what does it mean to educate in a world where we've got highly capable generative AI in our pockets, attached to our phones or accessed through our phones. But when I took on the role 10 years ago, I had no idea what was coming down the line. But we set out a simple and I think powerful vision that we wanted to ensure that every student should succeed. So we had a mantra of success for all our students and that every interaction would count. And over the last 10 years, I think we have built a more collaborative university. We co-created strategies with students and with staff. So in the development of our education strategy, every theme within it was led by a member of staff, a member of academic staff, a member of the professional service teams, and at least one student. And that's what shaped the education strategy that we've been pursuing over the last 5 years. We've become more inclusive. As I say, we've had success for all at the heart of our institution. We have become a much more diverse university. 10 years ago, if you'd walked into a room like this at Exeter, it wouldn't have had the sort of diversity that we see in the room now. We want to be more diverse, we want to be more inclusive, but we've moved quite a long way over that period. And we've been focusing on how do we support belonging, how do we support academic transition, and how do we support the outcomes for every student. We've also become a more innovative and digital university. We created what was called an education incubator 10 years ago, and that created the opportunity for academic staff who were passionate about education to develop projects that would be sometimes using the latest digital technologies, sometimes just being thoughtful and mindful about how students learn. And that incubator has seen a whole series of projects over the last 10 years, engaging students in thinking and experimenting with new ways of learning. And of course, over the last 2 years, the big focus there has been on how we respond to generative AI in teaching and also in assessment. We've expanded our online learning platform, so we've now got over 700 students learning online at the University of Exeter. 10 years ago, we were an entirely campus-based university. But probably one of the biggest changes is our provision of degree apprenticeship programs. We developed we engaged in the development of degree apprenticeships because we saw the opportunity to work more closely with industry in defining the skills and collaborating in the design of degree programs for the future. We saw the ability to engage in the region, so working with organisations in the region to provide a real skills pipeline into the region, but also to think about new ways of accessing University of Exeter degree. Not everybody can take time out and come for a full campus experience. And we started our first cohort of degree apprenticeships 10 years ago was 9 students. We've now got 4,300 students. So when you think about that, if you add that to the online learning, we've got 5,000 students at the University of Exeter who aren't on any of our campuses or who come to our campuses occasionally. And that's really transformed the nature of the institution. Looking to the future, we are reimagining what education at Exeter might look like through a program we're calling Curriculum for Change. We call it Curriculum for Change because we recognize that the world is changing so rapidly. We recognize that young people and people who are young in mind are really keen to see change. We're getting impatient for change. And we also recognize the transformative impact of education on lives. We want this major redesign of our educational experience at Exeter to recognize that world that our graduates are entering, that you guys will be entering shortly. One shaped by rapid technological advance, by global uncertainty, and by that urgent need for a greener, fairer, and healthier future. It aims to prepare students not just for the first job, but for the ability to adapt, to lead, and to shape change throughout your careers. And of course, artificial intelligence, as we've said already, is going to be a major part of that future. So again, we're thinking through how we respond to that. But right from the beginning, right from the emergence of generative AI, which obviously is 60 years after the development of machine learning approaches, but right from the beginning, we have said that we will use artificial intelligence to support, not to substitute, student learning. So at no point have we said, we will have an outright ban on artificial intelligence. We see that as really fundamental to the development into the future. If you think about, I think I mentioned, or Lorenzo heard me talk about this a little while ago, but about 3 months before ChatGPT emerged, I was giving a keynote on the use of AI in universities and education and assessment. Fortunately, it wasn't recorded, because a lot of what I said was immediately out of date 3 months later. But one of the things I said, which remains relevant, is we need all the help we can get. If you look at the inequalities in access to education now, globally, nationally, and even within the institution, that's a model that is developed in the absence of the sort of technologies that Gen AI is bringing to us. So there's a real opportunity for us with the power of generative AI, for the 24/7 tutor in the pocket, for the study buddy that's alongside, for the instantaneous feedback on formative assessment and that sort of ability to be able to have the sort of conversation that you might want to have with your tutor, but to have that at the moment that you have those questions. Not to replace humans, not to take humans out of the loop, absolutely to have humans in the loop, but to think about how we can democratize access to learning through these technologies. So I think there is an exciting future ahead, and obviously it's a future in which societies like Excode absolutely fit. So Excode is absolutely aligned to that direction of travel. You represent the spirit of the university we want to be, one that's innovative, not afraid to experiment, to iterate and to learn, one that's collaborative, bringing students, staff and industry together, one that's inclusive, ensuring access to digital skills for everyone, and one that's future-focused, preparing for careers in the world where AI, data and automation will continue to transform what we do. Digital fluency, including an understanding of coding in AI and its possibilities, is now a highly sought-after graduate attribute. So your work here, your commitment to engaging with Excode is really putting you on a good position, puts you ahead of the curve. Obviously, coding teaches you to do something deeper and more powerful than simply how to write a program. It's teaching you how to understand systems, how to solve problems, how to think creatively, and how to keep learning into the future. These are skills and mindsets that employers consistently tell us as what they value most. And they're attributes that, in Curriculum for Change, we're looking to put at the heart of the University of Exeter education experience. So looking ahead, one of the things that we can be absolutely certain about, as we look back, that the pace of change is not going to slow down. AI is reshaping industries, digital skills are becoming essential across all sectors, and the challenges facing society will require new ways of thinking and working. So our ambition is that your time at Exeter and that the fact that you're engaging activities like Excode mean that you'll be equipped not only to survive in that future, but to thrive and to shape that future. So every line of code you've written, every concept you've untangled, every moment that you've persisted instead of giving up, these are building blocks for a mindset that will carry you into the future. So as I look back, I'm incredibly proud of how far the education community of Exeter has come over the last 10 years, but I'm more excited about the future, and that's because of people like you. I've no doubt that your digital fluency, including your confidence with coding and the emerging tools that we've just been reflecting on, will help you to play a leading role building that greener, fairer and healthier future that we aspire to. You represent the future of Exeter, talented, curious, purposeful, and impatient for the change we all want to see. So once again, huge congratulations. I hope you'll celebrate what you've achieved today. You'll put your certificate in pride of place on your wall or fridge, and just keep learning, keep coding, and building the future we want to see. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Tim. And I'd also like to extend a personal and also think institutional in terms of behalf of Excode. Thank you for how receptive and how helpful you've been in coming here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And now we're going to continue with 5 societies going to present. So we have, in order, cybersecurity, robotics, entrepreneurship, and also computer science, and finally AI society. We have the presidents or heads or technological heads of these 5 societies coming, and they all will present for 5 minutes about the opportunities and their view, kind of inspiring you on what you just learned. So without further ado, I welcome Maxime and Adam from the Cybersecurity Society. Do you need 2 mics?
Should be all right. Hello, can everyone hear me? Sorry. Yeah, perfect. Hello. Perfect. So hello everyone. So this is Adam, the Vice President of the Cybersecurity Society, and I'm Maxime, the President of the Society. We have a short 5-minute presentation to give you a bit of insight on what we do, and if you are interested about cyber, or if you don't know what is cybersecurity, we're here to explain that. So, cybersecurity, firstly, we're going to start with a small quote. Cybersecurity isn't about avoiding risk, it's about managing it intelligently. Because the zero risk doesn't exist, you always have to know there is risk, but behind you have to manage it properly. Yeah. So what is cybersecurity? Because we cannot talk about a concept and without defining it first. Cybersecurity is the protection of systems, network, and data. Of course, you might have heard about something called the CIA triad if you had seen network and security, or if you had courses with Ashim. No, maybe yes or no. Confidentiality, integrity, and availability stands for something we know as the CIA triad, and it's a pillar in cybersecurity. So it also combines technology, processes, and people. The human element in cybersecurity is not to be neglected in any way, because the weakest link is the human in technology. So a nice definition wrote by IBM, and I really enjoy on cybersecurity, is it's the practice of protecting people, systems, and data from cyber attacks using various technologies, processes, and policies. So, sorry to disappoint, guys. I know you guys expected us to do some hacking, and you press on 3 buttons, shiny green lights, I put on a hood, turn the lights dark, and hacking is done. It's not as easy as that. It's not just pressing buttons, but with the proper knowledge, it can resemble for other people's to be as simple as just 2 clicks and bright colors. So why does it matter? Now that we know what it is, we need to understand why it matters, because nowadays, more than ever, we have reliance on technology for healthcare, for banking, for all your data, for everything. We need technology. We also have rising threats, because with more technology, we do have more people that want to attack our technology. And they're not limiting themselves to anything. So they attack hospitals, they attack data centers, everything. And it has a huge impact on individuals and governments. And you can see that 612,000 UK businesses and 61,000 charities have identified cyber breaches in the past year, with £1,600 being the median cost for a business of a cyber attack. So you've all done Excode, you've all seen Python. Now, where does it come in relation with cybersecurity? With Python, you can learn. It's easy, and you have thousands of resources online. You also have a huge ecosystems of libraries, and it's great for automating anything that you need. So, great libraries that you might have seen, or you should have seen the request library in Excode, or not, but you should have seen always things, how to open files, manipulate input and output streams, and all this is stuff that you can use for cybersecurity. So you can write custom exploits, automate your recon, see your logs, a lot of things that cybersecurity professionals do in their everyday life. Sorry, it's a Swiss Army knife. A quick example here. Here you can see something that could be used to check your logs. In Python, you've seen you can open a file. Imagine you have a log file. You open it and you read, and you try to find this keyword in what you're reading. This would be in cybersecurity the same thing as checking logs for suspicious activity. Another example, have you ever tried accessing specific websites just by using their URLs? In Python, using the request library, you can try and brute force stuff. So these three keywords can be used and replaced here in the path, and you could try accessing a URL that has this path with a lot of different keywords, and maybe, who knows, you'll find something that works. And this would be called directory brute forcing. Welcome to the cybersecurity world. This is what we have to show you, and of course, if you're interested, feel free to come to our sessions where we teach and give you a bit of insight. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And now, continuing, we have Kazibek. Yes, great. Thank you very much. So we have Kazibek talking for the Robotics Society. Oh, yeah. Just take it if you want. Okay, here. Oh, just before starting the connection, just go into presentation mode. Present the view, maybe? Because the notes. Do you need the notes for you? Just maybe just no, don't take notes because you're gonna show the notes there. Just go here, yeah. Just go present. Okay. You gonna present? Oh. I move it here. Laptop. You got it? Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
This is from.
Can I start? Yeah.
Just go and do your screen. Is it connected? Just wait a second. It's going to restart. Yeah.
Okay. Test. Okay. Hello, everyone. It's an honor to be here, and honestly, really an honor. Great to speak in front of all of you. My name is Kazibek. I'm the president of the Robotics Society here in Exeter. I'm a second-year computer science student, and today I want to talk about what robotics is, how the society came to life, and also why I think robotics can be something that any student could be part of. So again,
what is robotics? When people hear the term robotics, they think of humanoids, like this one from Unity Robotics. They think of drones. They think of rescue robots from Boston Dynamics, which is a cool company, by the way. But robotics is so much more than that. It's art, it's creativity, it's even more than engineering. So it's about problem solving, and yeah, it's such an exciting field to be like in. So the main components that usually go into robotics is usually the mechanics, like the movement, how a robot moves, how electronics, which is how the robot senses stuff, and also software and artificial intelligence, which is decision making. Today, robotics is everywhere. You can find them in disaster missions, like rescue robots. You can find them in Amazon, like warehouses. You can find them in streets nowadays, because I believe there's Waymo coming to London, and they're going to start driving around robotaxis this January. So that's pretty cool. And also, consumer robots, which is pretty exciting. And those are called humanoids. And yeah, this is the current state of the field right now, as it is. I want to talk about how I got into robotics as to my interest. It started during high school. So we had this IB computer science case study. It was about rescue robots. So, and yeah, it was a year-long case study, and it was part of our examination. And we had to research stuff and just learn about like ethics, research, and some robotic algorithms that came with it. So I learned about simultaneous localization mapping, path planning, and also human pose estimation, and a bunch of other robotics topics. So, and that's how I got really interested in this field. And then I decided, oh, I want to build robots in the future. So coming here in Exeter as a computer science student, I was supposed to go into computer engineering elsewhere, but coming here, I just realized something. In computer science, in here, the computer science department and also the engineering department are really separate. There's no way for computer science students or others to like learn electronics, which was kind of a bummer. And I believe same happened in engineering, where they only learn Python and nothing more. So I guess that's how the Robotics Society came to be. That's how I decided, I guess, to start a space where everyone can come together, can, just take up an Arduino, which is like a small microcontroller for like building robots, for building little hardware projects, and just can build. And yeah, these are the photos. These are the photos of events we've already had. So this is the introduction to robotics. This is Arduino workshop that we had last Friday. And what we have done so far, again, we've done a lot. We've done a solid foundation. Again, I have to emphasize that we're a bit of a new society here. So we're starting from scratch. And again, we've laid a solid foundation. So we've done Arduino workshop in Tinkercad. We've done introduction to robotics. And last year we had a guest lecturer speaking. And this is just the start. We're going to have a lot more sponsors with partnerships with RS Components and Excode London. And RS Components is a big electronics company in the UK. We've been funded for the next line following robot workshop, which is going to come in the second term. I'm going to talk more about it later. And Excode, which is the biggest startup AI accelerator in London. It's also a co-working space. They conduct a lot of hackathons, and really, it's a really chill space to be in. So yeah, we're going to be partnering with them. And on the line following workshop, I'm excited to announce that we've been funded for hardware kits by RS Components. So next term, the dates are yet to be determined. We're going to be doing a line following robotics workshop. So we're going to be building, you guys can come together in teams or alone. We're going to provide all the hardware kits. It's going to be totally hands-on. Everyone can build, and this is a great way to get started with robotics. And our vision for this society is pretty clear. We're going to do a lot more robotics competitions. There's one coming up in this March. It's by Cambridge, University of Cambridge Robotics Society and Harriet Watt. They're going to conduct a competition soon. So if you're interested, please do reach out to us and let us know. So we're going to be coming in teams. Sorry. We're going to do hands-on robotics workshops like the line following robot. We're planning to do a mini sumo robot competition in second term. So that is in discussion. We're going to do hackathons. We're going to encourage students to participate in a bunch of hackathons, either software or hardware. We're going to do guest lectures and showcases. And also, the main thing is going to be, we're going to build actual robots as a team. So that is pretty exciting. And before I close, I want to put up some links to my society over here. You can scan it, and to my LinkedIn. Also, I guess there's one point I forgot to mention is that I want to give credits to people who actually supported me along the way. So one of them is Lorenzo. Thank you for collaborating me with Excode, and really exciting to be here. And also, I want to give a special shout out to the founder and the former president of the Cybersecurity Society. His name is Mohtasham Ali. Some of you might know him as Mo. And yeah, special shout outs to him. He really encouraged me and helped me guide his startup. Start the society. I'm still a second-year computer science student, so I'm going to be learning alongside everyone else. So it's not just going to be like expert and just a learner. So we're going to build alongside everyone else. So that's the kind of people that we're looking for. If you have never touched a robot before, this is the exact cool chance to begin with. Again, this is my LinkedIn. This is my society. So please scan the QR codes, join, reach out to us, and yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Kazibek. Yes. One other thing, the various speakers, most of them are also going to be there afterwards if you want to grab a coffee with them or invite them for a coffee or just have a chat. And I'd like to just have a quick reflection while this loads, maybe, on the complexity of explaining the code concepts for engineers and code people. This is a reflection. I was seeing Kazibek explain what Arduino is, and he explained it as a microprocessor. And a lot of times when I was trying to practice for Excode, you sit there for hours, you try and you try, and you realize that when you are really deep in a subject, you become usually even not an expert, but you become kind of passionate about it. So it's really easy to build your own inner world around a subject matter. And what is much harder is going out of it to either grab other people and show them how beautiful it is, or even just kind of create those connections. And lots of time, you sit there and you say, oh, how am I going to explain a loop to someone that doesn't have, and so you tell a sentence, and it's like, yes, but then in that sentence, you realize that you have plenty of preconcepts that only being in the field or knowing what the loop is in the first place will allow to understand. So then you go one step deeper and try, okay, let me try with this other sentence. And again, you still have that kind of difficulty of kind of how do I explain it? And after lots of iteration, lots of talking with people, literally what I've done is I sat down with people that did not know how to code, explain to them the topics, and say, stop me every time there is something that is unclear. Next line, stop, and then they stop you less and less and less. Then you know you're getting a little bit better. Till you get really an analogy or an explanation that makes people click. I understand. And this is something that is really important in life in general, but also, and it fits quite nicely, for entrepreneurs. Because when you pitch your ideas, explaining them clearly is kind of a milestone. And that's why I'm pleased to introduce the technical head of the Entrepreneurship Society, Catherine. Thank you very much.
So, yeah, good evening, everyone. And then, I lost my voice, so sorry about that. So I am Nata Tanwe, and then I'm the Director of Technology at the Entrepreneurship Society. So today I would like to talk about why being a technical founder gives you a significant advantage in the startup world and startup business. So at the end of this talk, you will understand technical skill is one of the most valuable assets that you can develop as an entrepreneur. So, so let me break this down into 3 key advantages. First advantages is you can build your own MVP. MVP means the simplest version of your products. So most of the founder have to find co-founder and pay lots of money to create or to agency. At this point, you got the idea to build the app. So at that time, that is most efficient way. And also you can understand your, how can I say, technical possible. That can save your time on that can save your time on that can save your time, and then it will make informed decision about product direction. And also not only that, but also it can integrate your technical skill. And that is what you can get or review from your user feedback without burning your budget. Next, yep. So let me show you next. Yep. Oh, it's not moving yet. Sorry about that. Yeah. Now let me show you a real example. That is Dropbox. That Dropbox is in 2007 when Drew Houston built got the idea to build the cloud storage. He didn't how can I say, he didn't build the whole product yet. Instead of that, he just create a demo video which just showing how his Dropbox will look like and how will it work. So at this time, that video popped up, and then that video popped up, and also it went through the pop video, and also to solve the error, you don't need to wait. How can I say? That video pop up, and also when you found your errors, you don't need to wait the other to solve that problem. So at the end of this lesson, you can understand test from the simplest idea first, and then validate your idea, and then build it later. So next, it is not just about coding. It is about combination with technical skill with entrepreneur business thinking. So first, you can build your prototype in dare to test market fit before full committed. And also learn from difficult field and communicate with both technical team and the business stakeholder. And then also no waiting for developers, meaning you control the timeline and execution, and also make informed decision, understand technical feasibility, and also cost implication of product feature. Yeah. Not that one.
think we had our fair shares of technical problems. You remember week 1? It's always the tech people that have the technical problems. Yeah, should be opening here. Great. Should be loading.
Yep.
You want to continue?
Yeah, that number 5 slide. So now how you can start it. So learn from the basic coding stuff. So like pick Java or JavaScript. So, and also you can learn from the other free resources website. And also build a small project. And then which is more simple and then like fun, start from that part. And also join communities. That is most important part. And then you can like make a connection with others, people from the other society, and also who has experience on the like technical and the business skills. So, yeah, this is where we came in, Entrepreneurship Society. So, what is Entrepreneurship Society? Entrepreneurship Society connect like student entrepreneur at Exeter. So first, we provide mentorship, and also we organize a network, and then network event, and then like workshop and stuff like that. And also we share resources, practical resources. Yep. And also, how can we help you guys? So that is like we provide opportunity and events, something like Starter Student Exeter and the Pritchard event and the technical boot camps, of course. So, and also like we expand your network connection, and then we meet fellow builders and the potential co-founders, and then experienced entrepreneurs. And also, we work with other society. So like a kind of workshop and event, and we make collaboration and stuff like that. So now, if you are interested in like want to develop your entrepreneurship skill and also like technical and business skill, Entrepreneurship Society is here for you guys. So you can build, you can follow our like Entrepreneurship Society account and then visit our workshop in next semester. So before we go to the end, I want to share one last motivation. That is the best way to predict the future is to build it now. So why not we start today? So thank you so much, guys, and I'm sorry for my nervous.
Thank you very much. So to continue, I'm just going to put this back. To continue, unfortunately, from the AI Society, they are running an event at the same time. So most of the committee is occupied. So I'm going to cover in 1 minute a bit what they do, as I'm also on the side involved with some of their projects. So this AI Society is a new society that started just this year, and you can see it's a bit navigating a trend. I guess if you go now to, I was at London Dev Fest this weekend speaking, and you probably had, say, 80% of the speakers. I mean, I'm guilty as them, but 80% of the speakers are all talking about AI, and you have the 2 speakers that were not talking about AI, and everyone gets introduced, and these 2 speakers, the first thing they say is, oh yes, I'm the only one that's not talking about AI. It was a bit of a funny moment in the room. And, but I think they're doing some really interesting stuff. So they invite some experts to come in. And also this Thursday, I'm actually giving a guest lecture for them on large language models. So should you be interested, you can find it on their fixer. I don't want too many people to show up, so I'll just show it really quickly. So it's how to build an LLM. It's going to be in the library this Thursday. If anyone is interested from a technical perspective, going to have a look around that. And they do other events. You can just follow them on Fixer, University of Exeter AI Society, and you can see some of the events they do around AI, guest speakers, AI in democracy, AI in safety, and also some more technical things. So I'd say thank you very much to all of our society speakings. We heard from cybersecurity, robotics, entrepreneurship, and we also have, to close off, computer science. So I'm going to let Ed cover that up.
Brilliant. Is everyone able to hear me? I'm not sure if this microphone, everyone can hear? Yeah, okay, there we go, all right. So unfortunately, the committee from computer science are all ill today. But fortunately, I ran the Computer Science Society 2 years ago. So I'm going to give everyone here a whistle-stop tour of what the Computer Science Society does and why it might be of interest to some of the people in this room. So first of all, the Computer Science Society, don't get scared by the name. It is not just for computer science students. The Computer Science Society is the largest tech-based society on campus by far, with the most amount of members, all with the one thing in common, not necessarily studying computer science, but having an interest in technology and having an interest in coding. So there's a number of things that the Computer Science Society does every year, the first of which being the courses that it offers. So frequently, the Computer Science Society will offer courses on a particular technical topic that will let students like yourselves now, who have some programming knowledge, take it to the next level in a particular area. So previously, the Society has run courses on web development, which is how to build a website, if you like. So, which is something that everyone in this room is now capable of doing. Now you've done the Excode, you understand the basics of programming. This is Computer Science Society could teach you how to build a website. They've also run courses on AI, of course, similar to the AI Society, now also running similar courses. So definitely worth a follow on Instagram. So they sometimes go by EXCS rather than Computer Science Society to see what they're up to. The next and most important thing, and probably most interesting thing that the Computer Science Society does, is run hackathons. So hands up who knows what a hackathon is. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm impressed. So for those of you that didn't raise your hand, a hackathon is a competitive coding event. So it basically means that a bunch of people that can code get in a room for somewhere between 8 and 24 hours usually, and they work in teams to build a particular coding solution. So there'll usually be a general theme, whether that be, we ran one previously, and the theme was just finance. You had to build something financial, and then everyone comes up with ideas, build something really cool, and by the end of that 24 hours, they have something to show for it that they get to show off. Hackathons are an amazing way of developing your coding skills, trying something new, being put under pressure, and performing well in a hackathon is an amazing thing that you could put on your CV that makes you very employable. And it's something that I think a lot of the people in the committee and in this room can attest, that being able to win hackathons is something that's helped them get jobs and indeed internships. And the third thing that the Computer Science Society offers is the opportunity to socialize with like-minded people who also enjoy programming, who also have a kind of general interest in computer science. And again, it's not just computer science students that you'll be able to meet through the Computer Science Society. It's anyone with a general interest in tech and indeed programming. So if that sounds like it could be for you and you'd like to really take what you've learned at Excode, bring it to the next level, learn some more technical skills, get a little bit more involved, learn how to build your own website, whatever, then give Computer Science Society a follow on Instagram, and I'm sure they'd be delighted to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ed. It always comes in handy to have a good team, because I was thinking because unfortunately 2 people from the Computer Science Society are here, and we're lucky enough that the Vice President of the Google Developer Student Club is kind of casually also a previous president, so he did a really good introduction. So just the next thing we're going to talk about is our other guest speaker of the day. No, it's not the Excode Quiz. It's Dan Pritchard, which I'd like to welcome on stage. And we're going to have an interview style for around 30 minutes. And no worries, we'll also have the time for you to ask questions. I'll get you. Yeah, oh, sorry, no worries. Yeah, share here, great. Just take a seat here. Oh, perfect, yes. Can I turn it on? Do you know how it works? You just, yeah, that's mute, perfect, should work. You want to try it?
Okay, yeah, just testing the mic.
That's amazing. Cool. So what we're going to do now is around 30 minutes of chit-chat with Dan Pritchard.
If it gets boring at any point, just say, come on, crack on, because I know it's a long time to listen to someone. So and I welcome questions as well. Okay, so if, let's make it as lively as possible.
Yeah. So I'd like to start first of all with maybe an applause for Dan Pritchard who's coming on stage. So Dan is the founder and Ed, I don't know how much involvement you still have of Tech Southwest. So kind of raising your hand. Do you know what Tech Southwest is? Have you had any? Yeah, not a lot of hands. A few hands here, yeah?
And that just kind of sums it up, I think, in terms of tech. Because when you think of tech and you think about your career pathways, whether that's in the tech industry or others, when you think of tech, you think of the big players. You think of Meta, you think of Apple, you think of Microsoft. You probably don't think of Intelligent AI, who are in Exeter Science Park and have just raised about 5 million to go into the US market around InsurTech, in terms of the amazing stuff they're doing with AI, including PhD students from Exeter and elsewhere. You don't think of the amount of clean tech companies, the climate tech companies within about 20-mile radius of where you are today, because they're all pretty small. And I think one of the interesting things about this whole piece, in terms of taking those steps in coding, which is brilliant, and your future careers, is all industry is going to be tech. So you're not closing down any routes, you are opening up in all these different ways. If you're not a tech business, the next 20 years you're out of business. And it's as profound as that. And we have a challenge as Tech Southwest. We represent and work with a load of tech companies, and we're just starting to realise actually a lot of the interesting stuff is on the edges of that. It's the food and drink sector, it's the tourism sector, it's all the other areas that are waking up to some of the possibilities. So I applaud you for what you've done in terms of taking those steps. And some of you, I guess, will be doing quite technical courses already in computer science, and others won't. I'm just going to ask. Can I ask the audience one question? Then I'll shush. So who's doing like a technical a degree? Computer science. Others. Great. Okay, put your hands down. Put your hands down. Who's doing social sciences? Nice. Who's doing humanities? No? Yeah, nice. And then really left field arty stuff. Who's doing that? Come on, anyone? Okay. But that mix, I think, is so important, because the coding, the tech is going to get easier and easier and more accessible and more accessible and more democratized than ever before. So your competitive advantage is about staying ahead of that and being open to the possibilities and that cross-fertilization, that cross-collaboration. When I've built agencies and someone comes to me with a marketing degree, that's great. But if someone comes to me with an engineering degree who wants to go into marketing, I will give them an interview, because I'm intrigued and interested about that pathway. Okay, so think about that in terms of your careers, in terms of that mixing up of disciplines and expertise and knowledge, and the stuff you do in work, the stuff you do in your learning, and the stuff you do around the edges, because it might just be some of the stuff you do around the edges that become your superpowers in that mix.
I think this is extremely relevant, and that kind of combines really well with a bit the first thing I wanted to touch upon, which is your background. And a bit your unusual background. So you studied history, am I correct?
I did a history degree, 1991 to 1994. Yeah, 10 hours of lectures a week and 1 or 2 tutor sessions, and that was it. Yeah.
And I'm interested because here in the room we've got a really diverse audience, you've just proven.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, how did you end up in tech, first of all?
Yeah.
And how do you think your background helped or directed? What happened?
Yeah. So in the 80s, the only access to computers we had was like the ZX Spectrum, 16, ZX81, ZX Spectrum, 16K, then 48K, and we built simple programs then to try and make things work. Like, I don't know, let's try and predict the World Cup, put some football teams in, give them some scores, run some programs, and that was it. But I got into that, and I got into like Dungeons and Dragons and strategy board games and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it never dies. But what I loved was storytelling. I used to write stories as a kid. I used to write stories. So I was always fascinated by stories. And again, if you think about tech, when Steve Jobs stands on stage and does his magic, and he used to do those moments, he didn't talk about the code. He didn't talk about the technical elements or the teams that he built to build these incredible devices that we just hadn't even imagined could exist. He talked about stories, right? So that's the other part of tech, the stories that you create and tell. And that's why I got into doing history, because I love the whole storytelling piece, And if you think about an iPod, 1,000 tunes in your pocket, which for us, built on vinyl and CD, was like 1,000. And obviously now it's infinite, right? But that was a jaw-dropping story. So if you take tech and you put stories together, and you combine the power of emotional storytelling with technology, you know, in a planet in crisis, in terms of climate change and conflict, that is, again, one of our massive opportunities as well as dangers. So my pathway was, you know, I did maths, physics, and history at A-levels. And I was like, oh, I don't know which way to go here, but I just love stories. And I just love looking back and, you know, the collapse of empires and things that, you know, are on the edges, which then become mainstream, all of that. And then I went off into journalism, newspaper journalism and TV producing. And I went to comms, PR, corporate comms, and whistle stop, did all of that. And then about 7 years ago, set Tech Southwest up because I was running an agency in the Southwest. And we had a client that came down from London, moved to Exeter Science Park, said, right, I need to join the regional tech cluster. And there wasn't one. And I thought, this is an interesting story that needs to be told, because I went and had a look and thought, there's a load of tech companies down here, pretty small, but there's a load of them. So that's my journey. And I like being the non-techie in the room with loads of technical people, because it gives you permission to ask idiot questions. And again, that's one of the most important things we can all do. You know, and years of being a journalist, when you're a generalist and interviewing people, you might be introduced, you know, government minister, a CEO of a global corporation, whatever it might be, you know, you've got to know just enough knowledge to be dangerous and ask the idiot questions on behalf of lots of people who don't understand the language of that you're talking. So asking those questions and the why, you know, and again, coding, I think, is great because it kind of, you know, it's getting under the hood, isn't it? It's getting under the hood about the why and how does this stuff fit together. So that's my kind of journey, I suppose, into this.
This is really interesting. And you can kind of see the why of Tech Southwest as well, which is the next point I wanted to cover here. So what happened is you had that client, and then you kind of searched for a cluster and you did not find one, and you decided to start one. And can you kind of continue the story from there? What happened? Did you set it up yourself? Did you set it up with other people? And what were the actions you took in order to create Tech Southwest?
Yeah, so I sat down with a tech founder whose company was listed on the alternative stock market, and a guy who'd helped build a lot of the tech scene in Bristol. And we sat at a country estate about 5 miles away from here, weirdly. And we kind of talked about the pros and cons, because this is just before COVID. And some people said, oh, we're never going to talk to each other. You know, joining the dots across this region. You know, Plymouth and Exeter, we don't really talk. Bristol and Bath, you know, there's a bit of an antagonism there. Cornwall's like, everyone hates us and we hate everyone. And Somerset had a sort of identity kind of crisis about, are we clinging on to Bristol while we are anything? But what everyone said, all these tech leaders, we went and did some consultation events around the region, the different innovation hubs. They all said one thing, right? 3 words, well, it's technically 4, we're not London. Right, and that was very loud and clear from companies trying to build tech companies before COVID, moaning about getting on the train to go and see the investors, to do their seed rounds, their Series A and all of that. They liked not being London. They liked being out on the edge, building their tech here. And a lot of that was because it was climate-based tech. A lot of it because the talent pipelines were stable and the costs were lower. Everyone was freaking moaning about getting on the train to London to go to the conferences to try and find meet the corporate buyer, to meet the investor. But there was enough people saying, we're not London, we like being out on the edge, we are different, we're building stuff, we're layering in creativity, and that the feeling of living out on the edge that kind of flows into you, you know. I remember in the early days of Tech Southwest, I went to this tech hub in Shoreditch, about 150 companies, loads of fintech, that kind of stuff, walking around there going, bloody hell, you've got this, you've got this, you've got that. And the guy, the CEO of that, you know, they were a venture fund and everything else, he said, 2/3 of these companies come from the regions. They don't come to London for the lifestyle. They don't come here for the cheap rent. They come here because they have no choice, or they feel they have to, because they've got to play the finance game, the money game. Once you've got your act sorted in the regions, London is in trouble because it's such an expensive place to build a tech company. So that's what we're trying to do in terms of that Tech Southwest bit. You know, it started pre-COVID. COVID changed the game for tech because you can build it anywhere. If you layer in what that did in terms of sending everyone home, being able to connect with people digitally, you know, we now have investor network across the UK and start to move into Europe because we're all plugged in digitally. If you combine that with the face-to-face and you've got a great story and a great tech behind you, you can build it anywhere. And that's the magic of it, because would you build it in a co-working hub and paying a lot of money in Shoreditch, or would you build it, you know, I know amazing companies half a mile from the coast in North Somerset, a software company I was speaking to yesterday, 150 of them down in Newquay, and they lure people down from London. It's like, we surf on Friday afternoons. We pay a London wage and we surf on Friday afternoons. Or you can live in London. Yeah, that's part of the story, right? So that's the journey we're on, and that's sort of, I suppose, that was the next chapter of it, building our confidence post-COVID, realizing geography doesn't matter anymore, and, you know, supporting our companies on that sort of growth journey.
And I mean, what a journey. If you have a look now on the socials of Tech Southwest, you can see that they just recently run one of their flagship events, which is the Tech Southwest Awards, where they recognize the best companies in the Southwest. And it's interesting to see how it's getting momentum. It's bigger year on year.
Yeah.
And I think this year you're probably a couple of hundreds.
Well, like the societies that you're forming, the companies you're building, you just got to start, right? So when we did it in year one, we made Tech Southwest up. There's a few of us, and we just ran these awards as a way of just seeing what was out there. We got 82 entries, and 200 people turned up, and the food was not very good, right? But there was a bar, and there was enough of a momentum, and let's do it again. And we did it. We then did virtual awards the next year in COVID, and now it's the UK's largest regional awards outside London. So we get about 350 entries, across 25 categories, and we get sponsors like Microsoft and AWS and what have you. And it's a litmus test of what's going on out there. 7 years ago, we were getting, it was a very male-dominated awards ceremony. I'd say 90% plus. This year, it was getting closer to 50% in terms of those winning teams, those leadership teams, and that kind of stuff. And the sustainability and clean tech categories are just going like that. Because that's the kind of tech young people coming into the industry are wanting to build. So that's, I guess, testament to sort of just sort of chipping away at the start, seeing who turns up, who wants to play the game. I call it ruthless collaboration. Ruthless collaboration in business. You've got to be very external looking in terms of where the opportunities are, whether you're selling into markets, looking for investors, trying to build an innovation ecosystem, sort of thing that Tech Southwest is. But you haven't got time to go down too many dead ends. So ruthless collaboration, which sounds a bit harsh, but you've got to team up with the people who want to work with you and get it. And then the rest, you just got to let them go and get on to do their own thing. So again, that's been part of the Tech Southwest journey. And because we feel like we're a bit away from the rest of the world and the region, the UK, we built something quite strong because we just sort of thought everyone else was doing the same. And then when we go to Manchester and UK Tech Week and London Tech Week, go and you talk to others, and it's like, shit, actually, you've built quite a lot. We've got accelerator programs, we have investor summits. We're going to Paris in 2 days' time, taking 5 climate tech companies to the world's biggest climate tech 48-hour venture, thing. Just because we've had no one else helping us, we just sort of built something quite strong, which now is getting out there. And we're helping other people sort of try and build models, not like ours, because they've got their own journey to go on, but some of the shared experience. So. Yeah, that's a random whistle stop. I can't even remember what the question was at this point, but hopefully that's a bit of a flavour of the journey so far.
Yes, it's really interesting. Thank you very much. And it reminds me a bit of the story when you realize there's nothing, and so out of that nothing, you realize that actually behind the nothing, there's actually maybe lots of values that is kind of sparse, in plenty of places. And through basically the lack of, you build something that is even stronger than maybe the more established things that are already pre-existing and continue with the usual ways, because you have to innovate, you have to find new ways to connect, you have to find new systems, and you're kind of forced. Yeah. And kind of this connects to the next question, where we'll all have to innovate even more. So where do you think, and I'm also looking at the audience here, where do you think the direction of technology is going? Because you mentioned, really interesting, that in the next 10, 20 years, even now, maybe, all companies ought to be maybe entirely tech, partly tech, and just in general, where do you think it's going? And do you think it's going to be 100% AI? What's also the percentage of AI? Is it normal that at my conference, all the talks were the conference around AI? Where do you sit around these two questions?
And I think it's very dangerous on a public stage to predict the future, because people get paid in Google and Apple and elsewhere a lot of money to try and work that bit out. But you can see the direction of travel, right? So our Growth Forge accelerated this year. For the first year, we had an AI cohort, and it was oversubscribed. And in amongst that, I'd say we had 15 companies that have been doing cognitive AI and other sort of machine learning, other things for years, and data exploit, use of data and other things. And then we had this other group, and kind of naturally formed 2 groups of like, we're just going to build something. I've just got this idea for a new kind of HR tool around this, or I'm doing this, or I've got a sports club thing and I'm just going to build this, or I'm just want to grab these tools that are now suddenly available, and I've already built my first platform, and so in that mix for the first time, we're like 2 types of tech leaders or 2 types of entrepreneurs. There were those who'd built it up steadily and it'd been sitting in a niche for decades, actually, and doing very well, some of those businesses around, working with big corporates and others. And then there was this sort of set of people, the youngest was 19 and the oldest was 67, who were like, we're just launching companies right now. We're just grabbing tools, building stuff, getting it to market and seeing what sticks. That, I think, is a microcosm of the world we're entering now, and I think, for the Southwest, it's quite exciting because we are a world of small companies. We are a world of entrepreneurs and SMEs, and actually it's a challenge because they get to a certain size and sometimes they bugger off to London or they go overseas, and it's part of the journey. But what it does mean, I think, is in terms of sort of career pathways and where this is heading is, your choices are going to, you're not going to be stuck in certain lanes. As a computer science, graduate, you can work in any single sector. Someone with a good set of coding and other sort of fundamental sort of skills, or the robotics or whatever, again, it can be in so many different ways now. So I think it's going to be massive amounts of change. I think there's going to be lots more smaller businesses. I've spoken to 2 software companies in the last 48 hours. One is going, shit, we're going to have to wind down because AI is coming in and smashing us, right? That's in the region. And there's another one, about 100, 150 people going, this is the best time ever. They've worked it out for now. They've got models and they've got solutions that companies need. So even within sectors, the volatility is huge right now. And what does that mean for like junior entry-level people? It means there's huge amounts of change. And some of those job pathways are going to be smashed to pieces in terms of traditional, I think, lots and lots of programmers, lots and lots of developers in here, this niche or this niche. But what it is going to do is going to democratize it and open it right out, because everyone wants people with AI, everyone wants people with coding, everyone wants people who can communicate interpersonal skills with other humans. And if you've got in that toolkit, if you've got a few of those things, my God, you're going to be, in demands. But I do wonder though, the big corporates are going to be looking for those people, and also sort of trying to grab the small companies that are going to win in this new kind of battleground. But also I think there's going to be an amazing opportunity for clever people to group together, diverse sets of people, to set things up and get them to market within 3 months, say, so quickly, and test the market. And if you've got someone who's got the commercial, the marketing piece, the storytelling piece, the coding piece, the relationship building piece, and the drive and determination, there's nothing stopping people anymore to disrupt markets, like ever before. We are a truly global economy, and in the next 10 years, we're going to see that, and what that means for the incumbents, they're going to be buying up more than ever, or they're going to be overtaken, just like Kodak never invented, that never went digital and stuck in the world of film. And even though they saw it, they looked at it, they couldn't pivot fast enough, That's that, but on acid.
Yes, and now I'm looking at you, the audience, and I'd like to kind of connect what we just discussed with them. So what advice will you give this young, brilliant mind, in terms of what to do, what opportunities to find, and how to kind of go, and maybe even in the Southwest or in the UK, kind of use their talent?
Yeah, and don't listen to 53-year-olds, right? That's the first thing, because we're 53 and we're jaded. But no, I think there's 2 things. One is the planet needs solutions, right? 100 years ago, the entrepreneurs in the Southwest served local markets, created local products that they sold in their high street, or the farmers took to market, whatever. And then it's gradually changed and changed and changed and changed. And now the companies we see now that break out of the UK, whether it's the Southwest or anywhere else, are solving global problems. They're creating global solutions from day one. So if you're doing that, you're onto something, because the markets are huge and the need is great. And if you're doing something that's a force for good in terms of positive impact around climate tech or any of those, I met a guy this morning at one of the co-working hubs in Exeter, really into blockchain, and he does all sorts of crazy things on blockchain, sort of, runs sort of random gambling sites for traders and things like that. But where is he getting kicks right now? A blockchain-empowered marketplace for health to sell unused syringes and things like that just before their sell-by date. And they pitched in Denmark at the UN headquarters. They got a sort of the UN sort of big house building there, and then the global head of the UN kind of health emergency relief thing walks up to this. There's a guy from Exeter who's just helping his company with the pitching and said, "We've got to connect you with the Red Cross. We've got to connect you with this. We've got to connect you with that. You're telling me you've got this marketplace and it's working. It's all underpinned by blockchain, And there's 3 of them who've built it. And now he said, my God, since that last, that was 10 days ago, and now he's been to here, he's been to here, he's been to here. So if you can have the guts to kind of, create something and spot that need and build it and just go out and talk to people about it now, because people will get it if you can get the story right, and the doors will open. So I think my advice is to go big and bold, and that can be around working with the big established players, of course, and learning around that. But it can also be setting up companies, And the Entrepreneur Society, what they were saying there, setting the companies up costs nothing in this country. It's like £55 or something. Set a company up, build something, and launch it. You're going to learn so much. That's what my advice would be. Our Growth Forge Accelerator, there's two types of people: those who ship, get things out the door, and those who spend too long working on their product, too long procrastinating, and too long worrying about getting it right. Don't be that last person. Be the first person, because you'll do more learning in terms of that customer engagement through the failure. You'll do more learning through that and through the success, of course, than the latter. So that's the thing, turning that theory and all that knowledge. And that's not for everyone. And it's not about being the loud person. It's not about ego. Some of the best founders I've met are women, are super bright, are super articulate, are super nuanced, are super kind of quiet and behind the scenes, but they build amazing teams of people, and they can be that front person, or they can be the co-founder. The diversity now in that world of founders, even in the last 7-8 years, the youngest guy on our Excode program was 19, building his first successful company, and the oldest is 67. We started with less than 10% female 6-7 years ago, and now we're getting close to 50%. So, and that is just enriching the products we create, that kind of stuff. So that's another ramble, but that advice bit is to go big, go bold, build teams. Don't do it in isolation. The whole kind of genius individual is a myth in tech. You might have the front person, but it's never one individual. You might sort of build a team around a certain sort of person and certain things they're doing and building in the lab. But those, again, often we see those fail because they often might be brilliant at the technical, but it doesn't mean they're good at the commercial. It doesn't mean they're good at, the risk management piece, the operations, that kind of stuff. So that's that the world out there is your living lab of experiment and testing, and you don't have to sort of have money from your parents to kind of open a shop or to, back in the Industrial Revolution and just be, get the site, build it, all of that. You can just ship it so much quicker now. That is your opportunity.
Thank you very much. And I think we can have a round of applause for Dan. We're now going to open the floor up for questions. So can I give you a mic, Finn and Arya, maybe? And I'm going to just pass it on to people. So I would just, maybe go half. And if anyone's maybe want to start with a question, just raise your hand. Yes, do you want to start? We'll get a mic to you so you can ask it.
Thank you. I have a question. I'm currently a third-year LLB student. So from your perspective, what kind of opportunities have you seen in that legal area in the South?
So what course was it?
Pardon?
Just say it again. I missed it. Law.
Yeah, I'm in law.
Okay.
And I was wondering what kind of opportunities or niches have you seen in the legal sector in the Southwest, whether it's with legal AI or just simple, I guess, databases or assistants?
So I think there's two things. One is loads of companies are shit scared about AI and what does it mean. So I know companies, like a marine tech company that does underwater sonar stuff, puts it under the North Pole to sort of send out signals and monitoring all of that kind of stuff. And their policy is locked down, no AI. We can't risk it. It's so kind of proprietary, the tech they're building. And I also know people in that organization who are really peed off about that and saying, but we want to kind of play with it, we want to experiment. So there's all this stuff going on in tech and others about the legalities of AI. So that is one thing that's huge. Law as a sector itself is going to go through massive change, because anything where you are experts and you are gatekeepers to the knowledge and you charge a lot of money for that is under massive threat from AI. Legal is right there. We can, I can create draft contracts in my mobile phone, really sophisticated draft contracts for everything and anything. So again, it's huge change because legal don't like losing that power. But there are legal firms out there now going on that tech journey. There's one called CWC, based just outside Exeter, Winsley Park, who are one of the first ones to bring AI into their databases. They were like one of the first, so they say that a third in the UK, because again, legal moves slowly to tech change, because they're very wary of that, and what are the legalities, and they've got to be seen to be doing the right things. So there's huge opportunities, because it's an industry that's going to go through loads and loads of change. The challenge will be, of course, in terms of some of the admin stuff and the early stage careers and the first entry points, they're saying, oh, we'll get AI to do that, we'll get AI to do that. But if you go into legal firms, and you know how to code, you understand the technical, add that, layer that onto your legal degree, get some placements in a tech company to start with. Say, look, I can just sit there and give you legal perspectives on some of the stuff you're building. I was challenged today, a product I'm building, by a CEO in terms of, have you really thought through the legals around that in terms of the advice you're giving this company based on this type of AI? What kind of indemnity levels are you going to need for that, in terms of if they then enact that and it doesn't work out? So, I think in the tech space, the more variety, the better. So, and there's just so much change out there. But there'll be legal firms that are just moving slow. There's some that are going for it. And again, in the world of founders and entrepreneurs, they're not going to want big, slow, long back and forth conversations with lawyers like they used to. It moves fast. So if you're using the tools yourself to arm you and equip you with latest knowledge as well, there are new legal firms popping up now, lower fees, more kind of responsive, using the tools on their innovation type dashboards and things like that. So again, there's a lot of change, but there will be opportunity.
I remember, I think 5 or 6 years ago, so it was before ChatGPT, and I was setting up my first kind of startup-like project. And I had to do all the privacy policy, terms and conditions, and obviously being a student, you don't really have the money to pay a lawyer. And I went to this, I think it was kind of system to generate law documents. And I used this system, was before AI, so where you plug in the values and you select clauses, and then it builds like terms. It was quite, but it's interesting to know how now you will use ChatGPT, and I think when you have the movement, the problem with ChatGPT is that the thing is not written by a human.
And you don't know if it's right.
Yeah, you don't know if it's right.
Oh, that's all right. But then how is that going to stand up in a court of law? There's a good company, I think it's Seed Legal. Have you heard of those guys? Worth having a look. Seed Legal. They're one of the companies that have really adapted to the technology in terms of their legal offering, which other companies can learn from. So have a look at them.
Do you want to pass it on? Do we have another question? Yes.
Got you.
Thank you. At the beginning of the conversation, you talked about the importance of stories. Now, increasingly in the tech field, whenever there is something that's being sold to customers, it's more about selling a story and selling a promise, and then thinking about how you're going to achieve that story than how it used to happen, where you had the foundation of a product and then you're trying to bring it out to the audience. Do you think that with the advent of AI and companies trying to sell bigger, better, more interesting promises to everyone, is that something that we as consumers, not only as developers, but as consumers as well, should worry about? Or do you think it's going to kind of level off over time, and the companies that won't be able to get to deliver to those promises are just going to fail?
Well, that's a really good question. So I think, storytelling is how humans exchange information. Hunter-gatherers sitting around the campfire, we didn't do it with data. We told stories about, the berries that were safe to eat, or the places we'd go, which were with demons, stay away from the edge of the cliffs. Or, we told stories, right, but were rooted in science and reality that underpin those stories, and that carries on. The power now, if you look at Trump and fake news and multi-channel, and I was a journalist, for a printed newspaper that we printed 4 editions a day, one that came out, we'd come in the early, so the world has changed in terms of the pace and the amount of storytelling, whether you see that storytelling in terms of a micro way, in terms of 5 seconds of your time on Instagram, or a long strategic campaign by a massive brand, like, McDonald's wants to sit in your brain every 24 hours, because it's done the research that it knows if it just gets to the front, part of your brain every 24 hours, you're always going to see that as the #1 player in its space, which is why it spends a lot of money on outdoor advertising now, and always has done compared to some other brands. So the storytelling is huge and it's there. But the great thing is, and every generation gets better and better. You've grown up with it. You're smart people. You know the tricks of the trade. We hope, obviously, learning and education, that kind of skepticism. That's really good. When I was young, Facebook was a super cool, this network that was growing out of Harvard. What's going on with that? Wow, the story then was like they were smashing the system. What's the story today of Meta, and are they one step removed from reality in the public, and the super uber bunker that he's building and all of that kind of stuff? The story changes. The story changes. So I think the power of storytelling is huge, and the gap bit is the trust, right? So I worked in the energy sector for 6-7 years. When Fukushima, the nuclear plant in Japan, went, because of the tsunami, right? And I was doing comms, so we had like Sky News helicopters flying over nuclear plants in the UK. We were doing interviews on top of reactors with journalists trying to prove it was safe. It was the trust gap, which has been like that, opened up. So there's a problem, and it's the same with AI. You see the front of the Daily Star, the rise of the robots. It's the Industrial Revolution all over again, and it's going to come down to trust. Trust in the technology. What does it mean for my job? What does it mean for my family? So unless you can lean into the conversations and the debate and open it all up, and it's the same as stories. And brands that get things out quick, and if the goods don't live up to the story, that trust or lack of trust gap starts to open up, and then someone else is just going to move and exploit it. So if you get it wrong, you're in trouble. That doesn't mean you can't ship things quickly, but you've got to be honest. Don't sell what you can't.
It's like the Theranos story.
Yeah.
The Theranos story where they sold, with Elizabeth, remember Surname, she sold this of machine that with a drop of blood to get all of this data, and she went for billions and billions for years and years.
That's right.
And it was all fake. The tech wasn't there.
Yeah, eventually you're gonna, you can take certain people along the journey for a certain period, but it's very hard to hide now. It's one of the great things I saw change in the world of journalism and PR is the democratization of that as well, because the consumer can just rip into a company. A member of staff can leak things or can say, well, this is what the culture is really like at WeWork. You're saying this, Glassdoor is saying that. So it's so hard to do that. And of course, when you've got the big machines of government, doing these things and the budget or Trump, they are hard machines to kind of fight against. But again, you've got to be really, nuanced and skeptical in your belief of stories from brands as well as governments. But that, puts power in your hand if you're willing to be that kind of person,
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, due to time, we're not going to be able to take any more questions, but I'd like everyone to give one more round of applause for Dan.
Thank you.
For as much as we'd like to get more hold of you, I'm sure that maybe these students will have the opportunity to have a chat with you or reach out on LinkedIn, social media. And we're going to continue with the fun you've all been promised. So I'm pleased. I think, yes, they're coming. Great. So I'm pleased you get 1 second. And now we're going to do an Excode quiz. I'll get you the mics. You want one each? Do you want a mic as well?
Oh, wait.
That's great. Should be, just wait a second, it's going to turn on.
Hello? Hey, that works, I think. Yeah, it works.
Hello.
Can we,
that works.
Can we do a round of applause for Arya and Talia? They worked really hard to prepare this quiz, and you can all participate. You're going to say it.
Thank you so much, Lorenzo. All right, everybody.
Guys, get your phones out, get your laptops out. We're going to do a Kahoot quiz.
Who here misses Kahoot? I've missed it for a long time now, but we've got it here, and we've got cash prizes too. So yeah, hopefully you'll be the next one up. You'll be the real victor of Excode today. So. Just getting it all set up at the moment, so.
In the meantime, just to update, so I think we're going to be finishing at around 9 and a bit early, hopefully. So we're going to take probably 10 minutes for the quiz, then another 5 minutes for the game competition announcement, and then just another 5-10 minutes for the certificate distribution. I'm going to call the team, then call the students. What can we say, Arya?
Well, what can we expect? Well, I'll tell you what to expect. You know, we've got a few questions on coding, a bit of Python in there, but I thought it'd be a bit too formulaic. Why not throw in a few oddballs in there, a few random questions in there, you know, just to get your heads thinking, or maybe not thinking as well, because they are pretty out there. So hopefully we'll keep you on your toes. But yeah. There we go.
Yes, great. Last live. I think everyone can participate. Also, if there's any workshop leaders, you can participate as well.
Open to all skill levels.
Just try it. Yeah. Don't go out after the presentation. Yeah. Everyone, join.
Already in.
Put semi-serious names.
Got a real variety here. Got all these awesome names in the chat here. I didn't know Kahoot had that many like icons and stuff. Apparently you can like customize things now, huh? That's cool. Six, seven. The Dan Pritchard has joined the Kahoot. That wasn't you. We've got an imposter. Dazzlius. Oh, that's an amazing name. Wow. Dazzling name. Yeah. So we've got some general computer science questions in here and a bit of knowledge about Excode as a team itself too. So yeah, so many people. Well worth the subscription, I'd say. Definitely. Are you in as well? Can I have your name on Kahoot? Smiling Griffin. Oh, and we got more imposters here. Goober, Le Bonbon. Amazing. Lovelace, the building. Oh no, Ada Lovelace is in the Kahoot as well. One of the original computer scientists, might I add. That is an honor. All right, let's give it, say, 2 more minutes. Make sure everyone is in the game. Everyone's in the game spirit as well. Yes. Yeah. Oh, we already have the winner right there. They've announced it. I love their confidence. Everyone having a good evening? Yeah. It's a cool emoji. All right, 1 more minute.
Do you have a microphone? Oh, shall I ask for it back? Do you want to hold this there? Perfect. We got both mics.
One more minute.
Another
One
minute.
more minute.
One more minute. One more minute. We got people still coming in.
Yeah.
I've seen Uno like at least 5 times, I think.
Make sure you join, otherwise you might be missing out on our £30 prize.
£30.
A lot of money.
At least 3 to 4 subways.
At the end, please take, at the end.
That's like
please
fully
take-
stylized, that.
Okay. Yeah, at the end, please take a screenshot if you win. This way we can prove, because if there are multiple people with the same name, take a screenshot you won, take a screenshot second, and then come. We'll say. But take a screenshot.
That being said, if the person with the username David Pritchard does win, then David, you're more than welcome to claim the prize. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, guys, I think we're going to start now because you've got a lot of people in.
All right,
So-
are we ready?
5, 4, 3, 2. Oh wow! 1.
Whoa.
We're gonna start. Okay, bye guys.
Yep, bye.
Right, first question. Well, this isn't a question. It's just a slide.
Yep, just letting you know.
Wait, I just. Yeah, guys, be ready. This is just a
be ready,
preparation
just be
slide.
ready.
Prepare you mentally.
Just get your thinking, okay?
Right. Okay.
Put
okay,
your thinking
okay.
caps on, all right? Don't want to leave home without it.
Oh, first question. Which one prints "Hello World"? The string "Hello World." And this is you now that you've taken Excode.
Yeah, bunch of
That's
smart
what you
hackers.
look like.
That's what we all do. We actually just get into our lectures and just do this the whole time.
Whoa!
Ooh, well done, all of you.
Let's see. Is it going to show the leaderboard? Here we go.
Bunch of smarty pantsers. Bold
Look
Yak
at that.
88. Bold Yak 88. Put yourself around pat on the back right there.
Right, next question. What does CPU stand for?
Answers are just flooding in, huh?
Watch out for those trick answers.
Yeah. A lot of red herrings in here, you know. And that's time.
Very nice.
CPU stands for Central Processing Unit. No. Oh, yeah, move it, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, look at that. Right, next question.
The highest climb. Well done, Jinam. Very, very well done. Hopefully I pronounced that right.
How long has Excode been running for, guys? If you paid attention, you're going to know this.
Judging by the image, proper old though, huh? Ooh, real split there. 9 to 10 years. Far back as 2015, 2016,
Yes, but also it is a bit of an iffy number.
Bit of
So
it,
I
yeah.
have put no one knows.
No real confirmed number. That's why it's 9-10, you know.
Very old. Right. Okay, next question, guys.
Ooh, 21 with an answer streak of 3. So
When was the first computer game created?
looks archaic, huh? 19 BC, huh? Back in the day, we played with them abacuses, huh?
Very
Yep.
good, guys.
1961. But we'll also count that one because, well, it's still the same year. It's, yeah. Next question.
Can a matchbox?
Can a matchbox?
A, yes. B, no. C, no, but a tin can. Or D, yes, one beat Mike Tyson.
Computer sciencey, huh?
Whoa! Look at that. Okay.
Just goes to show, not many of you played the impossible quiz.
Yeah, guys, get on top of it. Scoreboard.
Well done,
Plant
Plant.
is in first place.
We love to see it, Plant. Good job.
Let's go. Right.
Next question.
Where's the right version of the Excode logo?
I can't see it, huh? Let's see how many of you are real fans, huh?
Got to pay attention, these types of things.
Even the skeleton's thinking, huh?
Whoa!
Oh, that's horrible. That's really bad.
Guys! I'm upset. This is bad.
That's kind of devastating, actually.
Might have to revoke your certificate.
We might have to do another. Yeah, please. Yeah, you're more than welcome to. Anyways, that means we're going to have to do another 6 weeks again. So see y'all next Tuesday.
That banner was there the entire time.
Like, come on.
Okay, right, next question. Oh my god, I was meant to delete this one.
Yeah, what? Yeah, I saw you create this one.
Yeah, guys. Okay, the story behind
What
this.
is it, Dad? What is it?
Grace Hopper found a dead moth in her computer because her code wasn't working, and that is called debugging because she put that in the report as debugging, and now that's why we call errors in our code bugs. And I wasn't sure how to word it, so this was like the draft, and okay.
Yeah, you're getting an inside look into our development process, but on the plus side, y'all really smart. Y'all got it right. Like, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be patting myself on the back.
Right, next one.
Question 9.
How is Python named Python?
Snake. Monty Python's Flying Circus. The creator got bit by a python when making the program, or because it will take the light from your eyes and suck the life out. Then that's right. It does do that, to be fair. If you do it for long enough.
And it is actually named after Monty Python's Flying Circus. And I did not know that before making this quiz. So now you guys get to know that too.
Me neither.
Scoreboard. Plant yet again.
Plant,
number
back
one.
up. Come
Let's
on.
go Plant. Oh, is this your one?
This is my dog.
Yeah.
His name is Philly, short for Philadelphia. What do y'all think of Philly? Choose your answer carefully though, okay? Just keep that in mind. Because who would say they hate Philly? What's going on? What's going on there? I don't get that. I gave you the right answer, so I don't understand that one. Anyways. Next question.
Which of the following is not valid Python syntax? Lovely John Chungus there. Yeah, that's not valid.
You can't have the last condition be a specific one indeed. It's just everything that's not your prior conditions, you know.
Brilliant.
Good to see E on the board. Very good, E.
What's the output of this? Try your best.
This takes us back to data types and variables. There we go, it's a float.
Good attempt. Yes,
showing overall.
Effort. Plant's still at the top. Who is Plant?
Answer streak of 11.
That's impressive. Right,
Wow.
Next one. Fortran was the name of the first programming language, but what does it stand for?
Red, formula translation. Blue, for my terrific friend Rango. Yellow, fortune translation. Or green, foreign language translation. And that's just wrong.
Whoa. Okay, that's brilliant.
Formula translation, everybody.
Yeah. Come on. What was the machine that called that Alan Turing built in World War II? Wait, no, it was the. Yeah, no, it was. Okay. Figma, Enigma, Trig, or Capture?
There we go.
Brilliant. Okay,
A lot of
guys.
historians in the building.
True or false? You are a robot.
Well, are you? Really help out a lot if you'll just tell us up front, you know.
Hoping it's false. Hope we have no bots in this Kahoot quiz.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't have that at all, would we? No. What?
True. Oh no.
34?
We've got to put you guys through a Turing test.
Whoa. There are some cyborgs in the crowd. That's terrifying.
Okay.
And Plant, well, no, Plant actually got that right. Good job, Plant.
How many bits make up 1 byte?
Sorry, I just got caught off guard. I didn't see the chef picture before today. It's amazing, yeah. 8.
Ooh.
8 bits make a byte.
Close second in 16.
All right. Help.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
What's the correct way to define a function in Python?
Hey, that's Cynthia Erivo. Yeah, shout out to Wicked. Yep, define, or def is short for define, my func, the parentheses, and then the colon.
Yeah.
Well, not parentheses, brackets, I meant to say.
Diddy Blood in second.
Good job, Goober.
What did you learn in week 3 of Excode? This is really, really testing your knowledge.
And you're not allowed to open up the website either. I mean, not that we can check, but...
Get those neurons firing. Guys, I expect better. Right, next question. Whoa!
Well done!
Guys, come on. Amazing.
Greatest of all time. And blue's a great color too.
Okay.
Nicely done.
Which of the following creates a list? Mind those brackets.
See, that's also computer science. That's me when I type, actually. You know, opening up loads of terminals for no reason. There we go. It's square brackets for a list.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, in the top 100. Yeah, that's magic. Hopefully, have you got a streak as well? I'm proud of you. That's amazing.
What's the correct for loop? Careful with this one.
A lot of funky wordplay here. There we go.
Cool.
It's important you had the colon
Right,
at the end.
podium.
Podium.
Third place.
Third place.
Java.
The whole programming language of Java.
Remember to take a screenshot if you're on the podium and get your prizes.
Well done, second place. And in first place,
Come on, right, give everyone a round of applause.
Make sure you screenshot so we know you're a winner.
Are the winners in the room? Please stand up if you're one of these three.
Please stand up.
Right.
Please stand up.
Pon? People.
Pon? Pon.
Congrats.
Well done.
Can you come over here 1 second?
Oh,
yeah, just come here 1 second. Yeah.
I'm noticing no one's claiming second. Oh, is that second place? Well done, second place.
Well done to our winners.
So to get your prizes, Francesca from the team should just give you a code, and it's an Amazon gift card. So you can just go and ask her and she'll give it to you. Great. So I think we can also give a big round of applause to Arya and Talia for animating the party and animating the codes. Let's go back here. Great. And now, bit of the last big thing, we have to do the Excode game competition announcement. I hope this yes. So the game competition announcement, how do you feel about it? Just by show of hand, who here has done the game competition? Okay, that's a lot of people. We had, I must say, loads of fun with the team playing the various games. We did it in an anonymous way. So all the games scoring was anonymous. We had a big table, played every game one by one, and then we scored kind of the game mechanics and then also the game complexity. So we looked at various things. I've also kind of graded it last year, and it's interesting to see the difference. So we had to remove code quality this year out of the grading criteria because everyone was just using ChatGPT. So there was not really a lot of points in looking at code quality. And I think the difference was that last year, we still had a couple of games that were manually made, while this year, well, there were some still, but there were much less. But still, we had a lot of fun playing them. And I don't know, Ed, do you wanna come on stage and help me announce the speakers, or announce the winners? Yeah, I'll move the slide, and you're gonna do it. Like, tell the names, read the names. Great. So we're going to announce from third place to second place and to the first place. As a reminder, the third place is getting £20. Then second place, I think, is getting 30, and first place is getting £50. So it's really good. So I think it's the next slide. I'm quite sure. So do we do?
Janja, congratulations with Goose Game. Have we got Janja here tonight? Nice, up there. Well done. Congratulations.
If you want to calm down, and you can also get your code. What we liked about the game, and I think the other judges can also if they want to chip in, but what we liked is that this was the only game that went beyond and kind of tried a new spy game and used libraries to make it more engaging. So that was why we selected this game. And now we're going to move on to second place.
Drum roll, please. Second place goes to Devanash. Congratulations, Devanash, on Echoes of Blackwood Manor. Well done, Devanash.
Do you want to say 2 words about this game? Maybe, do you want to say 2 words about the game? Yeah, the last one. Yeah, no, this one. Yeah, or the last one. We both of them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, because you look at this game.
Yeah. Because I also had a hand in judging and reviewing all of these. I think I'll help out and personally extend this project right here. Well, actually kind of blew me away. The commands that you could use to interact with each room in the house and to traverse the house as well. It was quite intuitive, just being able to like move around everywhere. And it was also a randomly assigned house as well. It was seeded basically. So items and locations are random each time you play. And it creates a quite nice like psychological horror experience that way as well. So well done to you, Demesh. But now, I want to say, this last place spot.
Should we do a drum roll?
Do a drum roll. Reviewing all of these, I laughed, I cried, but this one blew me away. With this project right here. This is the names of our winners right here. We got Hassan, Tristan as well. But this one, are they here? Congratulations. Because this was a masterclass in storytelling, multiple choice, everything about it was just kind of mind-blowing. I also enjoyed the functions used to like have text slowly generate across the screen, the glitching function as well. How you managed to get the Linux handle as well as like the password at the end of the game too. That was incredible. And life could really be a dream, couldn't it? Yeah, life could be a dream. Life could be a dream. Sure. Let's start the game. Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, the story it just happened suddenly. We were doing it together, my friend and me. It's really difficult to speak in front of all these people. Yeah.
So
I kind of put you on the spot, didn't I? Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, we enjoyed, and I don't know what to say, to be honest. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was amazing. Thank you.
We're going to send an email with the 3 games winners, so you can play them yourself as well. And I think one of the reasons we selected this game is that we genuinely, and have you collected your prize as well? Don't forget, go and collect it. But one of the reasons we selected is that, so we all sat down in a seminar room with the team and literally played them one by one. And when we sat down with this one, we literally, after 30 minutes, we said, like, should we start judging? And we realized that for those 30 minutes, we're actually playing, like actually being engaged in the game.
I was fully engrossed. Like, my eyes never left the screen while I was playing. The story was mental. Honestly, it was incredible.
And it's all, I don't want to spoil too much, but it's all about a storytelling, and you're a character in a world, and you explore the world, and you make decisions, and then based on decisions you make, you kind of have special endings or special stories. So we'll send it up if you want to give it a play. And also for everyone that participates in the competition, then when we'll do the certificate, there's also additional certificates. I'll explain that in a second. So first, so the last thing of the day, I'd like to thank you all. It was a pleasure to be your lecturer and the director of Excode over these 2 years. And I really enjoy seeing all of you here. And I'm really grateful for all of you. I'm grateful for the team. I'm grateful for the institutions. There's a couple that I need to thank as well. So if I go here, obviously Google and the Alumni Fund sponsoring us, Dan and the various guest speakers that we had over the various weeks, but also all the other societies that participated and made this possible, along with the amazing work of the workshop leaders. And I also like to say that it was a pleasure to kind of just teach when one teaches to learn. And that's one of the core things that I felt over these 7 weeks of really the connection and kind of sharing laughs, sharing difficulties, because sometimes at 7 p.m. when you're doing a for loop, it's normal if your head hurts. And it was really a pleasure to do that. And now I'd like to thank the Excode team. So I'm going to kind of get them on the stage one by one, those that are here. And so I'm going to start. Maybe good, and then we'll do. So I'm going to start with Ed. I'm going to ask everyone to have a round of applause for Ed. Ed is the vice president of the society, and a lot of hard work was put behind it. Then I'd like to thank Adam, please come on stage, who was the treasurer of the Google Developer Student Club and also helped with a lot of things with Excode. A big round of applause. Then I'd like to thank Francesca. I don't know if is she here? Well, I'd like to thank Francesca for being part of the team, and also Henry, who are all both core team members, and whose help, and Francesca as well, was really, really appreciated for plenty of reasons. And then we also have the specialist Excode team. I'd like to thank, first of all, Ritesh, who unfortunately is not here today, and also Emily, who are both on the marketing team. I mean, I remember, I think, to show how good of a job they've done, I think in week 1, we went there, we gave over 3,000 business cards in a week. And we were standing in the forum trying to give business cards. And I think more than one person out of 2 were like, no, I'm already signed up. It's all good. I already have the business card. Oh, yes, I know what Excode is. And that shows how good of a job they've done. I mean, you're all here. And I also like to thank also Barbara and Catherine. Catherine, I think you here as well? I don't think, she just left. Okay, so Catherine as well. And then also our kind of student researchers, such as Finn, come here on stage, and Valeria. And also Talia, please, who's kind of helping as a core team member. Francesca, come here on stage. So big round of applause for all of them. No. Should we take a picture of everyone? No, where's the photographer? Yeah. So that's the team that made Excode possible. And Kazibek as well, come here. Kazibek was a collaborator, so not part of the core team, but and Arya as well. That's Arya as well. Yeah. These are all collaborators. Yeah. It's all the Excode team.
That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And also a big thanks to all the workshop leaders. So now the certificates, finally. So everyone from Excode, you can come maybe one by one. I don't know how you want to do it. So it's simple. If you're student, you can take one of these 2 piles. If you did the Python game competition, you take this pile. And if you're workshop leader, you can take this pile. So just maybe come down, and then we're going to head to the RAM. Thank you all for coming.